All right. So welcome, Scott. How are you doing? Welcome to this What is Your Marathon podcast show. How are you doing?
Well, thank you, and thanks for having me. Great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the benefit of the audience watching this or listening this, could you please tell us like where you are currently, in which part of the world you are from?
Yeah, so I'm in the Table Tennis Australia National Office in Adelaide.
Okay.
Adelaide is also my hometown,
Hmm.
born and raised here. And yeah, obviously at the moment it's a little bit difficult to travel around with COVID, but yeah, very happily home in South Australia in Adelaide.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just jumping straight away into the crux of it. Like, because I know you, I just met like a few months back, and then I got to know a lot more about you. So for the benefit of audience, could you please tell us like how you transformed from Scott, table tennis player, to Scott, CEO of Table Tennis Australia?
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. As you mentioned, I did start as a table tennis player originally. Over about a 7-year period from 2001 to 2008, I played either professionally or semi-professionally. Played a little bit of national team in the national team and in the men's team, and also in juniors as well. And played for clubs in Germany and Austria, and spent quite a lot of time training in China and competing throughout Asia and Europe. So that was a great time. But then I had an opportunity to commence my working career. So I had to make a decision to continue playing or to start working. And I chose to start working. So the opportunity came working for the International Table Tennis Federation Oceania branch, and I was working as the Oceania Development Officer. So that was a really great first opportunity to work in sports, and yeah, we're basically involved traveling throughout all of the South Pacific and helping with the development of the sport. So yeah, it was a great learning experience. I did that for 3 years, and then I worked outside of sports for a couple of years after that.
Okay.
And then I worked for nearly 4 years for South Australian Cricket Association. Cricket is another big passion of mine. And for the last 3.5 years, I've been working as Chief Executive for Table Tennis Australia. So yeah, I'm a passionate table tennis person, and yeah, this is a great job for me and a great opportunity to work in such a role.
Great. So with your multiple avatars, that whatever you just want, from a table tennis player, and then an office coordinator with an Oceania team, and then going into the different roles within Table Tennis Australia, and getting into the cricketing side of the things as well, sporting as an official job that you're going into. So now wearing a hat of CEO of Table Tennis Australia. So what's your day is looking like?
It's always very busy for a start, and normally pretty varied as well. So as things currently stand, you know, we're pretty close to having the national championships for senior, youth, junior, and para, which is going to be played on the Sunshine Coast, 2nd to the 11th of July. So it's full steam ahead with preparing for this. But then, of course, we do have some COVID problems happening in Victoria at the moment, and although the restrictions are easing within Victoria, as of today, the Queensland government still has restrictions in place for people travelling from Victoria or from Greater Melbourne into Queensland. So we're trying to work through those problems at the moment. But so that at the moment is taking up quite a lot of my time. But ordinarily though as well, you know, being a CEO, I have to be across all the different areas of the business. So there's things like a lot of finance related activities that's involved, and then our able-bodied high performance program, our para high performance program, plus our participation and development area of the business too. So yeah, and then as well, of course, there's interactions with states and territories, interactions with my board, and yeah, trying to, you know, increase our social media presence and boost up our viewership and everything else that goes along with it. So it's there's never a dull moment, that's for sure.
Right, absolutely, because the list of the stakeholders that what you are listing, I mean, I was just trying to make a notes of it, but I can't really hold it because that's many number of people group that you're interacting with. So that's really great. And with all these interaction, like I know like you would have got some plans like anybody else also in start of 2020, and then the COVID hits, and how you were adapting, like what were the key challenges like you were facing as a CEO at the point in time? And the second part of the question is like what were the measurements that you kept in place so that like you are overcoming those challenges? Could you please throw some light on that, Scott?
Yeah, it's a good question. And to be honest, it was quite difficult last year because there was a few things that we had to really focus on. So firstly was trying to help the table tennis community to return to playing as soon as possible with all the lockdowns that were happening around Australia last year. And then also, continuing to service all of our stakeholders, and then internally trying to make sure that first of all we survived and could continue to thrive in the environment. And there was a lot of challenges. Obviously, we had every state and territory was shut down at some point last year. Which then meant table tennis had to stop, and table tennis is an indoor sport, which means that it's more difficult to restart compared to an outdoor sport, and the things that go along with that. So we worked closely with our state and territory associations to keep everyone updated, and making sure that we could return to play as soon as possible, which happened in every state and territory, which I'm really pleased with. But then, we had other challenges too, like last year, our national championships had to be cancelled. So they were supposed to be held at various times throughout the year, and we postponed them. Then we looked to combine them later in the year, but eventually we had to cancel them. So really disappointing, but unavoidable. But I think people understood the background of what we were working with, and we didn't receive any criticism or anything like that, because it was a changed world last year, and people understood what we were dealing with and the realities that we were faced with. So that was quite difficult. But then on the flip side, it also did provide a lot of opportunities as well, because we didn't have to travel as much, and there wasn't as many activities required to do. So then we're able to focus on other areas as well that we might not have otherwise had the opportunity to.
Right.
So a few things that we did that I'm really proud of was last year we did a project where we identified every player who's represented Australia at senior level for able-bodied competitions, and on top of that, documenting their full career history. So I was very fortunate. I worked in conjunction with a TTA board member, Marie Pinkovich, and TTA Life member and TTA Hall of Fame member, Bob Tuckett, and we worked on that project together, and it came together really nicely, and we've been able to re-engage in a lot of cases, a lot of our former players from past eras, and be able to recognise them and the contribution they've made to the sport. So something like that maybe wouldn't have happened otherwise. So I'm really proud. And then from a broader TTA perspective, we came through from a financial perspective really strongly. So we still were able to turn an operating surplus last year. And then with the assistance of, there was a lot of COVID related government assistance provided. So overall, we delivered a healthy surplus again last year, and we actually grew our staff as well. We went from 6.5 up to 10 full-time equivalent staff. So, all things considered, there was a lot of sports that had a lot of pain, and there was a lot of job cuts and a lot of hours reductions and salary reductions across the sports industry. But we were completely not impacted from that perspective. And not only did all of our staff survive and hold their hours and hold their salary level, we're also able to get more staff on board. So I'm really proud of that fact as well. So we came through quite well.
I mean, for me, like when I'm just hearing this one, I can just see the leadership side of the things, that from what you're exhibiting over there, like taking care of your own team members and also taking care of all the players, and recognizing the players from the past and connecting with them. That motivates the current players and the future players as well. So those kind of things, and then you make the downtime into well productive use of it. So that's really a good takeaway for any of the listeners as who are all working as the leaders or entrepreneurs. So it was really good. And you touched a little bit on that one as well. Like, so from there, like you just made all these efforts in the downtime in the sense like where we can't really play that much. And how are you going to leverage that one? And what's your plan for the rest of the 2021 or 2022 or for a couple of years from now? What's your vision from here?
Yeah, so at the moment, our current strategic plan runs from 2019 to 2022. So we're just over halfway through that at the moment. So, we've undergone a pretty bold transformation over the past few years. So, that's in all aspects of the sport, from a high performance perspective, from a participation perspective, from a unification perspective as well, and trying to raise the profile and getting everybody working along the same lines. That's basically what we've been trying to do over the past few years. And, we've seen a lot of inroads being made. And I think the sport is in a pretty healthy spot at the moment. But having said that, we still have a lot more that we want to achieve as well. We're certainly not resting on our laurels. And, we would like to see, more participation, our players achieving higher results on the international stage and providing more opportunities at the grassroots level and so forth as well. So, there's plenty left to do.
Okay, yeah, it's good. It's good to just upbringing the people, upbringing the kids to the next level from the grassroots. So in those in that particular perspective, Scott, like as a person, like as a parent or anyone, if they want to put their kids and then if they want to see their kids to take this table tennis as a passion or a sport, how they can go about it, like where they can find these kind of things and how they can just take their kids' life into that journey. Could you please guide us through in that one? So because I know like there will be more parents listening for this one as well. So I just wanted to give that particular benefit for them.
Yeah, so for new parents, I would recommend a couple of ways to get involved. Firstly, on either the Table Tennis Australia website or any of the state and territory websites as well. There's a find a club feature on there. So you can just type in your postcode or your suburb, and then the list of the nearest clubs will come up. And, most of those clubs, or if not all, will be able to cater for new players and for junior players in particular. So that's the first option. And then also as well, we've been launching some new programs for juniors as well. So we have a new program called Spinnaroos, which is an entry-level table tennis program. So other sports such as football have Auskick, basketball have Aussie hoops, tennis have hot shots. Yeah, so Spinnaroos is the table tennis equivalent of that. So we just rolled that out last year and the beginning of this year, and we've had quite a good uptake for in its infancy really, from clubs getting involved with that. But that's another option as well for a really fun environment. You get all the kids get a bat and a shirt and some other materials to help them get started in the game and have fun while they're doing it. So that's what I would recommend for people to get involved.
Right, that's great. So Spinnaroos, that's where people need to look up on, and then they can just enroll the kids and then go from there. And then who knows, like we can create an Olympic champion from that lot. That's the whole intention. That's good. And just on that similar note, like if a person, like it's an adult like me or someone, like if they really want to take this table tennis as like a social sport, as a hobby kind of thing. So where I can go and how I can just find more about it and how I can engage with this particular sport.
Yeah, so again there, across Australia we have about 225 affiliated clubs and associations in every state and territory. So there's plenty of places to play. And again, there you can find your local club either on the Table Tennis Australia website through the Find a Club function, or on the website of your state and territory as well. So that's what I would recommend. And there's a lot of social activities at all of the clubs, as well as competition opportunities as well. So you can basically take it as seriously as you want to, and there'll
Mm.
be plenty of opportunities to play either socially or competitively. We try to cater for everybody.
Right, right. Okay, fine. That's good. And also, like, I can just see like so many other things. Like, yes, you have done your TT as a sport, as an athlete, as a person, and then also your avatar as a CEO, as a person there. So that transition that I just wanted to touch base. Like, one is like I mean, jumping into the sport, or any sport for that matter, from the young age, and going into the different levels and representing the state, nation, country, that level, and then after a certain period of time transitioning back to kind of a job or kind of a business or whatever the second career of their choice. So I can just see a journey that you have done in your life. So for the parents who are watching, or the person who wants to switch from the other side to come back into to pick up the second career or so, what are your advice would be?
Yeah, I think first of all you need to have a passion for it, and for me
Mm.
that's why I've been able to sort of stay in the sport for quite a long time, and also hopefully have a positive impact on the sport too. Is that
Mm.
I have a real passion for it. So in my particular case, even when I was playing as either professional or semi-professional, I was still studying as well. So that has also
Right.
helped me a lot. So I did a Bachelor of Business, and then I did my MBA as well.
Right.
And then following on from that, again, I did my company director's course. So
Okay.
I had probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years of tertiary education and postgraduate education behind me as well.
Oh, wow.
So I guess by being a player, built up my technical knowledge of the sport, but then through my qualifications, build up the business skills as well that's required. So that has certainly helped me no end as well. So and there's a lot of other opportunities as well, like not only from an administration perspective, but also in coaching. So I also did some coaching too. I have a level 3 coaching accreditation.
Okay.
And there's opportunities there to coach at a grassroots level, all the way up to coaching at state teams or national teams and the like. So and the other thing I would say as well is just put yourself out there and look for opportunities. Clubs and state and territory organizations are always looking for people who are willing to help and who are keen. And if you have good skills, there will always be opportunities there for you in some way, shape, and form. But you have to sort of go out there and find them. So, yeah, perhaps a good example of that is just with our most recent employee here at Table Tennis Australia. We just hired a lady called Anshul Thakur, and she was just finished her studies, and she'd been doing some coaching work at a local level in Melbourne and doing some volunteering for Table Tennis Victoria.
Okay.
And then a job came up, and she has the experience behind her. And
Right.
she put herself out there in a lot of different ways to build up her resume and build up her skills. And then a job comes up, and all of a sudden she's the best candidate and has a job working for Table Tennis Australia.
Right.
So she's a really good example, I think, for someone to, who wants to get involved in the sport and put themselves out there and volunteer a little bit and put themselves forward. So it's the same sort of thing, like just putting yourself out there and look for opportunities, and they will present themselves.
Okay, that's good. That's great. So just like, rather than just waiting for an opportunity to knock at your door, like just go and create those opportunities. So that's what like you just narrated, like put out yourself out there. So there will be things coming up, and then follow your passion on that one. That's a really profound information for the listeners over here. That's good. And just on the same note, like what would be your advice or tips or anything to do with the table tennis aspirants or the junior players or the senior players who want to represent the country? Like, what will be the your advice on that one?
Yeah, for parents, I would say give your kids as much support as possible through taking them to training, taking them to competitions, enabling them to have coaching and that type of thing. But also, I would say need to find the line between helping them and pushing too hard. Over the years, I have seen in some instances where parents they want nothing but the best for their child, But maybe if they push too hard, then
Mhm.
the child will actually turn away from the sport and not want to
Right.
be part of it. And that's sort of a lose-lose situation. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say, yeah, just give them support, but
Support
let
for.
them develop on their own and guide them on the right path without being too involved. Because,
Mhm.
from my perspective, people should play table tennis because it's fun and because
Mhm.
they want to, not
Correct.
because their parents tell them to. So
Great.
if that can be maintained, then they will continue to play and they probably will continue to improve as well.
Mm. Okay, that's great. That's great. And also, I coach people to run joyfully, like their first 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. So that's what I do as one of my passion and hobbies. So in that way, like where I would be seeing like a lot of people just going back to the roots, which is nothing but their own habitual nature. So what would be like some of the key habits as an athlete in general, like they need to develop, or especially with the table tennis as a sport, like what are the key habits that an athlete needs to pick it up?
Yeah. Again, I think, like what I said before, in relation to being employed in the sport, it's
Mm.
actually the same for an athlete. You need to
Right.
be really passionate about it, and you
Okay.
need to have that hunger and desire that you want to improve. And if you have that, then you'll
Mm.
probably stick with it and
Okay.
probably continue to get better. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's the first thing. And secondly, as well, I think you need to be able to listen to the coaches and be
Mhm.
really coachable as well. So,
Right.
coaches can see things from a different perspective. They would have coached a lot of different players over, a lot of different styles and different times and so forth. So they'll have a different perspective on things. So just being open to what your coaches have to say,
Mm.
and trust them. Like especially if they have a good track record in terms of developing players to be at a state or national level.
Mm.
It's not by chance. So
Mm.
yeah, listen to your coaches and be
Mm.
open to feedback.
Oh, that's great. That's great because hungriness, like hunger to achieve more things and then enjoy yourself and then put yourself out there. So that's really good things for any of the athletes and especially with its table tennis in the thing. So one of the things I could able to see more commonly, like this is what like after I was just I play a lot of tennis, but table tennis is what I'll be playing whenever there is an overcasting climate, that kind of thing. So I could just see a pattern or trend of getting the table tennis board in their houses. So which is a kind of a low cost infrastructure compared to other sports. So in that way, like what are the simple ways like for anyone to just go about and understand about the sports or watch more about the sports or play more about the sports, like how people can go and engage about the sport, about table tennis as a sport?
Yeah, well, table tennis has a lot of advantages, and one of them is that it's one of the easiest sports to play. I mean, nearly everybody in Australia would have played table tennis at one time or another.
Yeah,
Whether
like me, yeah.
whether it's at school or at home or at a friend's house or at work or even at a table tennis club. Like, so everyone should be familiar with it. And as well, like, it doesn't need a lot of space compared to other sports. It can be played all year round. It doesn't matter your age or your gender or your ability or disability. Anyone can play, and the equipment is relatively inexpensive as well. So, it should be quite straightforward for people to play. And also, if you don't have a table tennis table in like an official sense,
Yeah.
we also use the motto, any table is a table tennis table. So, even your kitchen table at home,
Right.
you can improvise with a net. You could put some books up on the table and that becomes your net,
Wow. Okay.
and that type of thing. So, there's a lot of ways where you can get involved in the sport relatively easily and inexpensively.
Perfect, perfect. I really enjoyed you saying that any table is a table tennis board. So I'll definitely go and now I'll just go ahead to see my dining table can be converted as a table tennis board or not. That's good. And definitely, listeners, you can really use this hack given by Scott, the CEO of Table Tennis Australia. So you can just go and start hitting around and get a pair of rackets and the thing, and the table tennis bats and things. So go for it. So that's just puts up something like because I can just see like anybody can pick up the sport and the thing. And in terms of improving the fitness, or when we just take this sport to the next level in terms of, okay, I'm going for a competition, what kind of a preparation that a person needs to do, both physically and mentally? Like what are the key things and things that you would be encouraging people to do?
Yeah, if I think it depends on the level. So if you're wanting to play at a local level in your club, maybe in the weekly pennant competition or fixtures competition, my advice would just be to go and enjoy yourself and play your shots and have fun. But if you wanted to get a little bit more serious, like maybe playing at tournaments or trying to push up into the state team and so on, I'd say you probably need to start doing some additional training and look to try and improve your technique and think about tactics and that type of thing. So yeah, it really depends on the level that you're wanting to play at.
Okay, great. And talking about the runs and the thing, this is a question which you always ask, like, what is your current marathon? What is your marathon at the moment?
What is my what, sorry?
What is your marathon at the moment?
My marathon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say just the continual evolution of the organization. As I said, we've gone on a big shift in the past 3.5 years from a finance, governance, administration, and operation perspective, as well as our strategic direction. And we've made a lot of progress, and we're heading in the right direction. But it's always, there's always something more that can be done, and there's always something more to strive for. So just continuing that evolution, I think it's it's a good thing. The sport needs to continue to evolve, but it takes time and takes effort and a lot of engagement from a lot of people, which is that does come with challenges from time to time. But the good thing is everyone who's involved with table tennis is in the sport because they really love it. So we have a captive audience of people who are really passionate. So that's also the positive as well.
Okay, great. A great marathon to just cross across. I wish you all the best on that journey there. So I mean, you touch base a little bit of my next question, which I was thinking to ask about, like more people will be coming and supporting the thing. So in terms of when we talk about the support, if there is like, how about like the sponsorships and the business entities, the commercial entities who want to sponsor or who want to collaborate with Table Tennis Australia, like how they can reach out and in what shape or form they can contribute and then add value to this ecosystem, and also they can get benefited out of this one aspect, like how they can do it, because there are so many entrepreneurs who will be listening to this one. So that's why I just wanted to put it forward and let them hear from you directly.
Yeah, we've definitely been working very hard to increase the number of commercial partners that we've been working with, and it's been going quite well, to be honest. So we've been building up our national events, which has a lot of exposure opportunities through our live streaming. We've been getting continually increased viewership numbers, both within Australia and internationally as well. So we have some pretty visible products from that perspective, and then also building up our other offerings. So like I said before, with our Spinnaroos program, we also have another program called the Corporate Cup, which is aimed at businesses. And then of course, we have our national team in able-bodied and national team in para as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for the companies to get involved, and if anyone was interested, we can basically cater to any price point. So we have, if companies have a relatively small amount of money, we can provide benefits for that, and if they have a larger amount of money, we obviously increase the benefits that we provide. But if anybody is listening and interested to become involved, I'd be more than happy to have a chat with them. So they can reach out through my email or through the TTA website, and I'd be always open to discussing with new opportunities or potential opportunities.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So Yes, people listening to this one, definitely I'll be putting Scott's contact information and all the relevant website and the links into the show notes. And so that like you can always reach out to him or his team or his office, and then get your collaboration going on. And definitely like your support to Table Tennis Australia and Table Tennis supports Australia supports to your business will be taking to the whole new level as a sport. So that's much needed for table tennis community, and also for community as a whole in terms of improving the active lifestyle. So that's really good. So Scott, like you shared a lot of different things about this Table Tennis Australia. What are they doing? What is their operating model, and how they're dealing with what are the different things. And as a normal person, normal citizen over here, what are the different tournaments that I can look out for in a calendar year, so that like I'll be looking, say come January, I'll need to look forward for this particular tournament. I can either watch or track for that one and see for it. So that kind of a thing, like what are the key tournaments or the key dates within Table Tennis Australia?
Yeah, so at a national level, we've been working hard to standardize when our biggest tournaments will be played.
Okay.
So, for example, we have our National Hopes Challenge, which is like our under 12s national championships. That's
Okay.
in April. And then we just launched this year the TTA Tour, which is a new national level event series. We started off as a pilot this year. We had one in Sydney, which was at the end of May. And we were also scheduled to have one in Melbourne at the beginning of June. However, the Melbourne one had to be cancelled due to COVID. And then we've got our national senior, youth, junior, and para championships coming up in July, Sunshine Coast, and then our national veterans championships this year will be in Darwin in October. So the majority of the national, or all of the national tournaments are typically between that sort of April and October window.
Right.
At the state and territory level, there's tournaments generally speaking throughout the year. But normally more of the tournaments are held before the national corresponding national championships, because the players normally have to be selected for their state, which they then need to earn points for by playing tournaments and so forth. So yeah, so that's normally how the cycle works.
Okay, perfect. That's good. So because that will give us the listeners and also myself to just look forward. Oh, these are the tournaments coming through, and then you can just have a look on it. That's great. Thank you so much. And in this forum, like we got different entrepreneurs, we got parents listening to, and then we got different runners as well. So this is a growing community. What is your marathon? Because I always believe like each and every person is running the life's marathon within themselves, and that's the whole reason that I asked you a question of the blue. So that's the thing there. So with all these people just listening into the, but they might be, I'll be posting this one as a video and audio as well. So if at all, like if you're just asking them what kind of a message that you want to deliver to these people.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, if you're already a table tennis fan, then stay with us. We're on the right track. And if you're not currently involved in table tennis, I'd say give us a try. You know, table tennis is a great sport, a family sport. And as I said before, it doesn't matter your age, your gender, your ability or disability. It's a sport that you can play all year round. It's a non-contact sport, so the chances of injury is relatively low. Being an indoor sport, you don't have to worry about you know, sunburn and that type of thing. So there's a lot of positives around table tennis. And you know, we always say it's a sport for all, and it's a sport for life. So I'd say, yeah, get involved and enjoy yourself. I'm sure you'll have lots of fun if you're involved in table tennis.
Right. Get involved and enjoy it. It's a safe sport. It's just a community sport, and then it's moreover, it's a fun sport. So that's a key message. So thank you so much, Scott, for just spending some time with us and in spite of your busy schedule. So thank you so much for that. And also thank you so much for sharing your journey straight from your childhood and then taking different roles and whatever the functions that you're doing within Table Tennis Australia. And also we can just see the passion that how you want more people to be involved, both from individual perspectives, parent perspectives, and also from a commercial business perspectives, and also asking more people to engage. So thank you so much for it. And yeah, so any final closing words from you?
Just thanks again for the opportunity. I'm always happy to have any opportunities to promote table tennis and what we're doing here at Table Tennis Australia. So yeah, thanks for having me on your program, and yeah, hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yep. Thank you so much. And listeners, so definitely I will put all the links, all the contact details, as I said, into the show notes. And thank you so much for listening us in. And also, if you're watching it, thank you so much for watching us in. And please enjoy your moment, and always keep your dreams alive. Dreams would come true, and always have a very good time. And this is Karthik Viswanathan, and this is Scott Houston from Table Tennis Australia. And he's the CEO of Table Tennis Australia. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.